Free will doesn't exist. By the Poopie Show, I love philosophical topics like this, and in fact, this is one that I subscribe to. I don't think free will exists. I think that we're all just responding to external stimuli based on our pre-built and learned programming. There's no such thing as technically free will, because technically speaking, we aren't conscious in like kind of like the metaphysical kind of way. Like free will is a concept that doesn't exist. Maybe she'll explain it better. If I had more time, I might explain it better. But this is just the preface.
I think
Therefore I am.
Except when standing in front of a
I know
kebab
that.
shop at 3 a.m. Then I do
Oh
not think,
shit.
therefore I do
Oh my god. Oh, I could go for a kebab right now. Oh, I miss living in a city where you could just like where they had a bunch of stands and you just get some falafel.
But
Oh,
due to an unfortunate series of events, what I most do am now is hungry. And I'm looking at the
I'm
menu.
hungry.
It has 120 items ranging from crab cakes to the Book of Common Prayer deep fried in week-old batter. Several laws do not apply
Whoa.
to UK kebab
Mushy
shops that are
peas.
open past midnight. Something does catch my eye though.
I am pissed that most places aren't like 24 hours or like open past midnight. They're still like fast food places that are open past midnight. But like grocery stores, bring that back. Whatever happened to that?
So I say, can I get a halloumi wrap, boss sir? And then I find out that 4 years law of heat conduction does not apply to UK kebab shops either. But the
I've
more
never had a
important
halloumi
thing
wrap.
about this scenario is, I could have chosen a pizza.
Have I ever had halloumi? I think I have.
I could have gone for chips, and I could have jumped over the
It's like a kind of melty cheese, right?
counter in a drunken rage to gnaw at the rotating crime against nature that is kebab meat. There's a general idea that if everything in the universe from its very beginning up to the exact moment I entered the king of falafel had been the exact same, I, as an individual, could have made a different choice and gotten a different meal. And that's free will. Humans have free will in the form of choice, conscious
Yeah,
intentions,
kinda,
voluntary
not really.
decisions. Or at least that's the delusion libertarianism presents. But oddly enough, this sort of free will is ruled out simply and decisively by the laws of physics, says evolutionary biologist Jerry Coyne. We've not yet figured out all the laws that govern our universe, but that's not necessary to confirm that free will is actually just cause after cause after cause.
Yep.
All mental phenomena and actions are directly or indirectly the product of previous events, most of which lie beyond our control. Now, determinism entails that whenever a person makes a decision in any situation,
I will say this one thing. When I was explaining for this whole conversation to my coworker, I did have a somewhat decent explanation of free will, and it's just like I told him to put his hand up, and it's like, and he's like, and I'm like, why did you put your hand up? And he's like, because you told me to. And I'm like, well, so do you have free will or don't you? Because you chose to put your hand up, right? And he's like, well, yeah, I have free will. And I'm like, put your hand down. And he didn't, because he was trying to defy me and show that he had free will. And I'm like, well, now your brain is trying to defy my logic. And because of that, you chose to put your hand up. That's what your reaction is. Some people would put their hand down. Some people would keep their hand up. It's like that's the whole thing with free will, is you're not really choosing. Whatever you choose was going to happen anyway, right? In the same, or at least provably, because we don't have multiple universes. With the same starting conditions, the same event will occur every single time.
that decision is the only possible one they could have made. This grows into incompatibilism, the idea that free will and natural determinism cannot coexist. Only one of them can be true. There are physiological reasons for me feeling hunger after half a bottle of Malibu, and there are reasons that lie in my genes, upbringing, and environment that led me to pick the halloumi wrap. Most depressed philosophers would agree that if it was truly my choice, I would be in complete control of everything that led me to that choice. That's environmental factors, my mood, any influences from other people, and past
Yeah.
experiences. But considering that all of these things are outside factors and half a bottle of Malibu completely destroyed me, therefore I am not God, unfortunately that's not possible. And that's only if we think of it philosophically. Although biological processes cannot be considered strictly deterministic, Benjamin Libet proved that unconscious intentions affect decisions regarded as free and voluntary. In his experiments, he asked
Mm,
participants to move their right wrist and report the exact time they decided to do so, and the results revealed that unconscious brain activity preceded the self-reported conscious intention to
oh
move.
yeah. And that's another thing that, yeah, that I've thought of is exactly moments like that where like 99% of the time your consciousness, right, is your logical brain is kind of is in step with what your body's doing, right? Is your logical brain in control of your body? I mean, that's a question in and of itself. But then there are those moments where somebody does something that they never thought that they would do in a million years. Like some guy was talking smack to him, and just out of nowhere he just popped him one in the mouth. He didn't even think of it. His body just did it all on its own, and his logical brain afterward is just like, what the fuck was that? I didn't mean to do that. I didn't think to do that. And it's like stuff like that is kind of like why um is kind of like why the quote unquote consciousness in your brain, it isn't really controlling your actions. Now, I don't there's like two definitions of consciousness that I've come across. One being like the metaphysical one that I don't believe in. It's like how humans are different from like animals because we have like a consciousness. I don't believe in that. I believe in like the consciousness like it's on a scale and there's levels of it. I'll
Basically,
stop
by
talking.
monitoring the frontal cortex,
Nobody
we
cares.
can understand what kind of choice will be made by a person before they're even conscious of taking that
Yeah.
decision. Another thing that I think plays a very big role in this library of causes and circumstances that make us us is routine. There was an interesting case
Hmm.
some time ago. Peter Porco
Peter
had been hit in
Porco.
the head with an axe repeatedly, but evidence shows that what he did in this situation was go about his day, loading the dishwasher, making himself lunch, picking up the
Oh
newspaper,
yeah.
before eventually collapsing and dying from his wounds. But did he do any of this because of free will? And more
I saw like a JCS video, or it might have been like an EWU interrogation video where this dude was like shot in the face, like, and he apparently him and his girlfriend or wife his were both shot, and his wife died like during like a home invasion or something, like a robbery or something, and but he survived somehow. And when the police finally found him, the dude was just like kind of doing regular things, like he was whacked out of his mind. He had like bruises all over his face, but they had no idea that he was fucking shot in the head, and like suffering brain damage. But yeah, the dude was just like doing things and like really confused about what's going on, and they were like pretty sure that he killed his girlfriend, but evidently that didn't happen.
interestingly, his son, the one who murdered him by hitting him in the head with said axe 16 times, was it his fault at all, and what good would punishment be if he was destined to do this from the beginning of the universe? The
True.
belief that there's no such thing as free will clashes most with the justice system. Sam Harris spoke
I I I I'm able to rectify that myself in my own brain, because even though technically free will doesn't exist, that doesn't mean that you can just let a being with like violent tendencies just to go out and be free on its own, right? um because though it's kind of unfortunate that we're not in control of our own actions, and some of those actions will land us in jail, it is better for the rest of the individuals that this this entity is put away, right? Even if you don't consider it as punishment, you are removing them from where they could do more harm. And again, then there's the whole thing of like, well, how are you moving them if you're not making a choice to do it? Ah, shut the fuck up. I don't
There's a
know.
different case. United States versus Grayson. At the center of the free will debate was a man lying to the court during his trial. And it was argued that he only lied because of the circumstances he was in. Depression and fear around going to jail made him lie. Otherwise, he would not have, because lying is bad. And well, you must, therefore you can. A free will and a will subject to moral
Is that
laws
Kant?
are one and the same thing. Justice should not be ruled out by lack of free will, at least
Wait,
not
who said
the
that?
one. You must, therefore you can. A free will and a will subject to moral laws are one and the same thing. Justice should not be ruled out by lack of free will, at least not justice in terms of rehabilitation.
It is Kant.
Almost everyone
That's
has
right.
the capacity to be rehabilitated, and someone smarter than me must have written a paper on that. But back to Sam Harris. Clearly, we need to build prisons for people who are intent upon harming others, but if we could incarcerate earthquakes and hurricanes for their crimes, we would build prisons for them as well, he says. The men and women on death row have some combination of bad genes, bad parents, bad ideas, and bad luck. Which of these exactly were they responsible for? Our system of justice should reflect our understanding that each of us could have been dealt a very different hand in life. In fact, it seems immoral not to recognize just how much luck is involved in morality itself.
I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I ultimately disagree.
That hits hard. But this is getting a bit long and complicated, so to sum up, you don't even need most of your brain to do what you're doing. All choices you think are yours are just the product of outside circumstances and biology. And not to sound like a red pill boomer, but I was thinking about our phones. They know things about you and me that we wouldn't even admit that we know about ourselves. Social media technically amplifies outside factors. I don't even know what I like anymore. And neither do you. An algorithm hopefully showed you this video because of hundreds you've watched before. Or maybe you clicked on it because it has a cheeky little title that challenges you. Look at me in my cartoon eyes and tell me you didn't try and do something random during this video. You at least thought about it, and it was...
I don't think I did. Mainly, well, I mean, mainly because I've thought of all of these. I have thought of me saying this is just kind of bragging. It's like, I've thought of this before. I'm different. I didn't think of anything random.
Anyways, it might even be something seemingly completely unrelated you've done in the past, but the choice is hardly your own. And I know that all sounds depressing, but it's okay. There are two ways to handle this new knowledge. Stop observing objective reality and become insane, or consider that you will never be able to see the entire chain of events that led to any one decision. And this is called illusionism, or cope. And you know, you clicked on this video not because it was your choice, I guess, but I'm giving you a choice to watch some of my other cool vids if you want. You are free to choose to do so. Psych.
Psych. Gotcha. We will watch them another time, but for now, we'll leave you a like. Thank you, the Poopie Show, for bringing up this. I love conversations like this. I was trying to be kind of quick about it. Usually when I talk about philosophy, I don't have like my stances like set up ahead of time. Like I know generally what I believe, but like when I'm talking about it, it's more of like I kind of feel out what I'm actually talking about, you know, because I have read philosophy, but I mean, honestly, like my stance on philosophy comes from what I think makes sense, right? And sometimes it's hard to put that into words or know the terminology for that. Anyway, like and subscribe.